Hi guys, welcome to the Movie Matthew channel, and today I'm ranking all 8 of the Harry Potter films. I'm a massive fan of the Harry Potter franchise, I absolutely love it, and to rank these was very difficult, probably the hardest ranking I've done so far. But anyway, let's just get straight into it, shall we? Number 8 is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy this film. I enjoy every film on this list, but this is my least favourite. But it has its moments. The first scene, the opening sequence with Harry and the car and Ron is very entertaining. The Whomping Willow getting involved too, very entertaining. But there are also scenes I don't like the Aragog scene with all the spiders. Not particularly my cup of tea. But there's lots of scenes that I do enjoy still, but I think the whole storyline of the Chamber of Secrets is enthralling enough, but I think it does meander through the middle. This movie is overlong for me. It shouldn't be as long as it is. Simple as that. It's too long. It just goes on and on and on. Just a bit too much. You know, it should rein it back just a little bit. You know, but the Basilisk and Tom Riddle we get introduced to Tom Riddle in this, the younger version of him, and yeah, that's an exciting scene, the Basilisk scene, and the very last scene with Lucius, Dobby and the sock. That is a very, very good scene. That's probably my favourite scene in the whole film. But yeah, like I say, it is a bit overlong. It does meander slightly. The effects are much improved in the Chamber of Secrets from the Philosopher's Stone, the first one. But yeah, overall it's an enjoyable film. It has its moments, but it's just not my favourite on this list. Number 7 is The Deathly Hallows Part 1. Reason for this is it's just a huge build up for the second one. You know, I don't like that. I mentioned it in my Hunger Games ranking. The Part 1 to Part 2, I hate Part 1s. Part 1s are pointless. This one does have a lot more depth, especially more depth than the Hunger Games one, that's for sure, because the book is so big. They did split it into 2. You kind of understand why, but it also just doesn't add enough Part 1 for me. That's why it is so low down on my ranking, but it does have very good and entertaining moments. All 3 of our characters, Hermione, Ron and Harry, they do go through the ringer in this one, and they're really challenged. You know, this Horcrux around the neck is really challenging them, and especially Ron, has to really go through it in this. My favourite scene in the whole movie is Hermione and Harry, their dance scene. It just seems so fitting that they were to do that. These really hard times they're going through, that little bit of joy and happiness they brought to each other through them for that 10 minutes is so special, and their relationship is so good, and it's grown so much over the films. It was lovely to see that dance scene. There's also a very emotional scene with Dobby dying. Jesus Christ, one of the most emotional scenes in the whole franchise, that's for sure. But he went out so well. You know, he got Harry, Luna, Hermione and Ron all out of the dungeon, saved them, gets them out of there. But Bellatrix has to be a bitch and kills the guy, which adds the fuel of hatred I just want to throw at Bellatrix. God, she's awful, and I really couldn't hate her anymore at this point. But yeah, there's some very special scenes and good scenes in this film, but for me it does feel a bit too much like a build-up. There's a lot just of them travelling and meandering, I guess, again, like Chamber of Secrets does a little. But yeah, overall it's not my favourite, but it's still very enjoyable. I also think learning about the Deathly Hallows from Luna's dad before he betrays them, because all he wants to have is Luna back, so you can understand it, but it's still a dick move. But yeah, him discussing us through the Deathly Hallows was very informative, and I enjoyed that scene too, the way they did it. But yeah, some memorable scenes, enjoyable enough. Number 6 is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the one that started it all. Seeing these characters at the very start is so mad when you see it now. The connection between Harry, Hermione and Ron is instant. The connection is brilliant. They're so cute in this, and the chemistry is great. I absolutely love to see their characters progress through this film and get introduced to the world and Harry's past. You know, he was so intrigued by his past. I was even more intrigued watching it, thinking, Jesus Christ, what is this guy in for. You knew he was in for something mad. Straight off the bat, we're introduced to Hagrid, Dumbledore, all the classmates, Malfoy, everyone. So good. It was so amazing to see all these guys come together in this film and really just be introduced to them, see which one's the prick, see which one's nice, see which one's you don't know if he's nasty or nice. It's nice to see. I love introductions like this, and it's a very light-hearted film, a lot more light-hearted than any other Harry Potter film. It gets darker and darker and darker as it progresses, but this one's more light-hearted. It's funny, it's got its moments, and the final sequence of this film is very, very entertaining. You know, in particular, the chess scene with Ron, what a scene. And with Quirrell / Voldemort and Harry standing off with the Philosopher's Stone. Very memorable. Great, great, great scene. Harry's naivety is in this film, which is good to see because he should be naive. He's not instantly just knows exactly what he's doing, which is good. The build-up is great. I just really, really enjoy Philosopher's Stone. It's so nostalgic watching this film. Fluffy is one of my favourite creatures in the whole Harry Potter universe. So good. And yeah, it's just great. What a movie. One downfall I have slightly of this film is the effects are quite bad. This is probably the only Harry Potter film where the effects are just noticeably bad. You see it, you think, oh, it's not good that. But it's understandable, I guess. You know, it's the first one. They weren't really sure if it was going to do well, you know, but it does take you away from the magic slightly, and I'm so happy they've really improved on it as the films go on. But in the first one, it is noticeably bad at times, but apart from that, I can't fault this film. Number 5 is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This could have been 2. These top 5 are very, very close to each other. I love The Prisoner of Azkaban. This top 5 in particular, I love all 5 of these. I just love this film, you know. Remus Lupin we're introduced to, and their relationship, Harry and Lupin's, is very genuine and great. I love how he's teaching him how to overcome his fears, which are the Dementors, which we are also introduced to in this film. Watching Harry try and overcome this to the point where we get the finale where he's just like, yeah, no, expecto Patron and fuck off, will you? It's great to see that. There's so many memorable scenes in this, you know. We've got the midnight bus introduction. There's so many introductions in this, you know. Peter Pettigrew, who is he? We don't know until the end. What a twist that is. Peter Pettigrew being Ron's rat. Very good twist. We're introduced to Sirius Black as well. You know, there's many twists in this. Lupin's actually a werewolf, and Sirius Black's actually good. It's mad. There's so many twists in this. You watch it from the start and to the end, you're going through about 5 different twists. You don't have a clue what's going to happen. You know, Harry thinking it's his dad and it's actually been him as another twist. This keeps surprising you, this film. You could never predict what happens. The time turner scenes are some of the best time travel sequences I've seen in film. I think they're done so well, so creative. You know, Buckbeak, another character introduced. What a character he was. So happy he didn't actually die. But yeah, there's so many good scenes in this, man. Such good scenes. And the scenes involving the Marauders map are very interesting and provide great intense moments where he's trying to find Peter Pettigrew, but he's not there. He's on the map, but he's not there, and he's wandering around trying to find it, and turns out, fuck's he called, man? Snape. How did I forget that guy's name? Snape is there as well, crawling around the hallways, and it adds some very intense moments in the dark hallways of Hogwarts. But yeah, it's great. From the Philosopher's Stone, the Chamber of Secrets, and then the Prisoner of Azkaban, the shift between more light-hearted to very dark is very evident in this. This film is a very dark film, and it just gets darker and darker, really. The twist is seamless, and it's directed brilliantly. It's a great film. It could have easily been number 2 on this list, but that's how tight it is. It's just so good. I love this film. Number 4 is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I love this film. It's probably the most frustrating to watch film out of the Harry Potter films for me, but it's very enjoyable. You know, no one really believes in Harry. That Voldemort's back is very irritating. Dolores Umbridge, as annoying as that woman is, she is a great addition to our Harry Potter universe. She's such a bitch, and she really challenges our main trio, you know, and it forces Harry to really create his own Defense Against the Dark Arts class, and here we get to see Harry become more of a leader, you know, which is great to see, because Harry's the guy who's going to try and defeat Voldemort. He needs to show some sort of sign that he's able to do it, and he's teaching all his classmates how to do these spells, Defense Against the Dark Arts spells, and they're working, and everyone starts becoming on board with the Harry Potter train, and I love it. Everyone starts getting onto Harry Potter's side at this point. And we're introduced to Luna. Luna is a very good character, another great character introduced here. She relates to Harry in this, and Harry has someone he can speak to about certain things that he can't speak to maybe Hermione and Ron about, which is great. Great introduction, very quirky, great character. And Neville Longbottom gets a bit more of a say in this, which is great. And him and Luna getting involved with our trio at the end is very exciting. I liked seeing them get involved and them using the spells against actual Death Eaters. You know, they really got through in the deep end, but it worked out in the end, I guess. The ending sequence is epic, so good. It gave me goosebumps the first time I watched it. I was in awe when I first watched it. Watching the Order fight against the Death Eaters, the sequences, Sirius Black getting killed, how irritating, you know. And it's probably the best piece of acting I've seen from Daniel Radcliffe in the Harry Potter franchise there. His grief and how distraught he is at the fact of Sirius Black dying. And it made me hate Bellatrix again even more. Bellatrix killed two amazing characters. I hated her. So the payoff when she eventually dies is massive, and I'm so happy she does. But that's what the Harry Potter universe is great at. It really helps you hate these main characters. These Death Eaters are pricks, and the reason why they're pricks is because it's been built up so well over the films. My favourite scene in this is Dumbledore versus Voldemort, obviously. That's the fight we all wanted to see, and it's a fight that finally happened, that went for it. It was so epic. Fire versus water, like the Last Airbender type stuff. It's mad. It was great. It was such a good scene. And then I also love Voldemort trying to get into Harry's head, telling him, you should join me, you know, we're going to win, you're going to lose if you don't join us, you need to. But then Harry's little monologue telling him, you know, you don't know friendship, you don't know what it's like to have someone to love, you know, and he's just like, yeah, fuck you, Voldemort, yeah. It was great. Voldemort just goes, you're a fool, Harry Potter, and drives off. I don't even know what he does, fucks off somehow. But yeah, such a good scene, loved it, and we finally get to see the Minister of Magic realise that, yeah, he's actually back. Yeah, so can we all just stop hating on Harry now? But yeah, it's a great film, The Order of the Phoenix. I really, really enjoy it. Watching the Centaurs just whisk Umbridge away, another amazingly satisfying moment. This film's filled with great, memorable moments. I really enjoy it. Number 3 is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I love this film. It's number 3, which is higher than a lot of people would put this movie on their lists. I just think it's great. It has a bit of humour, which is good for a very dark Harry Potter film. This is probably the darkest one. And for our main characters here, we really get a sense of hopelessness in this film towards the end. But during the film, the liquid luck part is very good. The love potion part is good. It adds a bit of humour. There is a bit of humour in this to try and relieve the very dark moments in it. Ron being under the love potion was very funny. It's probably the funniest sequences in the Harry Potter franchise for me. I thought they were very entertaining. And Harry being on liquid luck, trying to convince Slughorn to give him that goddamn memory that he wants so bad. And the interactions between Harry, Hagrid and Professor Slughorn are very entertaining. I love it because Slughorn, you can tell he really doesn't want to give anyone this memory because it shows him in a very bad light, but Harry's got to try and figure out a way to get him to finally admit it. The liquid luck plays its part and helps him, but yeah, it's very entertaining, those scenes. I really enjoy them. Slughorn was a great character to be introduced. He added a lot, you know. The relationship Ron builds with this girl, I don't really like. I'm so happy that when he came back, woke up in the hospital bed, he mentioned Hermione's name. That was epic, a very satisfying moment for me. I loved that. And I love seeing the conflict in Malfoy, because in this Malfoy has a big task and he's really conflicted of what he wants to do. You can see it in his actions, leading to a bathroom scene that's epic between Harry and Malfoy. Harry using a spell from the book, the Potions book made by the Half-Blood Prince, which is obviously Snape, but we don't find that out until the end. When he actually, my favourite shot of the whole film actually, of the whole franchise, period, where the shot pans up to Snape and he's telling Harry he's the Half-Blood Prince. I absolutely adore that shot. I don't know why I love it so much, but I do. And like I said, that bathroom scene with Harry and Malfoy is very interesting. Him using that spell and then watching Snape help him. You think, what side Snape on at this point? You do not know. It makes an unbreakable vow that he will help assist Malfoy in the deed. We don't know yet, but at the end we know that it is to kill Dumbledore, and Malfoy obviously bottles it, typical Malfoy, and Snape does it. That, when I first watched this, my mind was blown. I thought, Snape can't be that bad, can he? Snape, he's a bit of an ass, but I bet he's nice in the end. That's what I always thought, but this really changed my opinion the first time I watched it. I thought, God, maybe he is a prick. And he does it, and this is where it really turns. Helplessness through the roof at this point. You're thinking, how are they going to get back from this? The most powerful wizard, who's actually good, is dead now, and it's insane. I wasn't expecting Dumbledore to die even when I first watched it. I was so taken back. It was a shocking moment. Dumbledore did go out on a high though. Him and Harry trying to find that Horcrux was epic. The shot of him getting rid of all those things in the water, I don't know what they're called, but it was getting rid of them with a fire above his head, and Harry rises from the water and sees it. It's incredible to see him go out in some sort of glory. It was a very thrilling sequence, this one. A lot of jump scares. You're thinking, Jesus Christ, at this point I'm worrying for the characters. I'm like, God, what's going to happen here? It was a very intense and a very exciting sequence was that, and it was a great ending for Dumbledore's character. Dumbledore is great. Obviously we all loved Dumbledore, and see him die is sad, but at least we got some great bonding time between him and Harry in that sequence before it then turned all shit and sour in the end. But yeah, it was a great sequence. The ending where the Horcrux isn't real is quite anticlimactic in some people's eyes. For me, it's more of just a realisation for Harry and Ron and Hermione how hard this task is going to be to destroy these Horcruxes. That's what I got from it, you know. It's not going to be easy, guys. You're going to be out for months on end trying to find these, and to destroy them is going to be even harder than finding them. You're really going to be pushed through the ringer here. And they really taught them a lesson about that Harry really got to learn through this film, that yeah, this is very hard. When Slughorn finally does give away his memory, they find out about the Horcrux, and learning about them was very interesting. The fact he has 7 Horcruxes you have to destroy to kill the guy. You're really thinking, Jesus Christ, they got to go on a mission on these next 2 movies to get this sorted out. But yeah, this film was brilliant. I really enjoy the Half-Blood Prince. Let me know in the comments below if you like the Half-Blood Prince as much as I do. Some people don't really agree with me on that, but I'd love to know your lists down below. Please let me know before I get into my final 2. We're on to number 2 now, and the Goblet of Fire is taking the number 2 spot. I love this film. The Triwizard Cup is such an exciting addition to the Harry Potter franchise. I love the challenges they go through, the dragon sequences. God, was that good. And the maze sequence at the end, another unbelievable sequence. Give me a lot of give me the Shining vibes. But what doesn't? If it involves a maze, it's going to give me them sort of vibes. But there were great challenges that really tested Harry. Harry shouldn't even have been there. You know, he just got thrown in by someone, we don't know who. But we find out it is Mad-Eye Moody, but not Mad-Eye Moody at the same time. It was someone pretending to be the guy. But Mad-Eye Moody was such a good character to be introduced, and Brendan Gleeson smashes it in this role, as he always does. I'm a massive fan of Brendan Gleeson, and he smashes it as Mad-Eye Moody in this. So good. My favourite sequence in the whole film is when Mad-Eye Moody's discussing to the class about these deadly curses, these awful curses that they're not really ever learnt before, but he goes through it and he's very extreme, really does all the spells, and it's very painful for the students to watch, but it's such an effective scene. These characters get to really see what it's like, these Cruciatus curse, you know, and of Abracadabra. These spells are they're awful, and he's doing it to this scorpion, and the horror on the faces and the way he finishes it with the Abracadabra curse. It's just a brilliant scene. I love that scene. And it's just great. Every single sequence is good. We're introduced to Cedric Diggory, who really builds a great friendship with Harry throughout the films, which is great to see, until the guy dies. and wow, is the ending sequence to this amazing. I love the ending sequence to this. It's probably my favourite ending sequence out of all the Harry Potter films. I just think it's perfect. Voldemort being brought back, Peter Pettigrew, the little weasel, comes along and gets Harry's blood, puts it in, and Voldemort's back, which is just bloody brilliant in it. When he comes out for the first time and he goes like this and his eyes roll back forward, oh god, it's so amazing. Ralph Fiennes, another unbelievable actor taking the role as Voldemort. The cast in these films is just ridiculously good, and Ralph Fiennes smashes it in this role. It's such a good film. Voldemort is just crazy in this as well. Watching him and how dark and awful he is mad. The twist at the end with the Triwizard Cup, whether it's a portal taking him to the graveyard where Voldemort eventually comes back, that whole sequence is mad. His family come in to help him and distract him while he grabs the portal with Cedric and goes back. And he's very emotional when he comes back. His dad coming out screaming, "That's my boy." God, is that heart-wrenching to see. It basically has all of this film. It's funny, it's exciting, it has very intense moments, sad moments. It's really like a barrel of amazing things. Another intense moment is Harry underwater in one of the sequences in the Triwizard Cup, and God, is that intense. They're trying to drag him down because he's trying to save two at the same time. It's just insane. So many insane moments. This movie really does have it all for me. I think it's just brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. The twist with Mad-Eye Moody when eventually it does get revealed is all done so well. So many subtle signs throughout the film, portrayed slightly more and more until we get the huge twist at the end that I did not expect at first when I first watched it. And yeah, it adds so much to the film, does that, having a little mystery throughout that you don't really understand what's going on, but then you finally do. But when you watch it back again, it's seamless. You know, the little hints throughout, it's so good and so well done. This film is just brilliant, man. The one slight setback of this film for me is the Yule Ball sequences. Not a massive fan of that, and it does slow down the intense pace of this film. But I can deal with it because all the amazing parts are so amazing, it overshadows that slightly weaker plot line that wasn't my favourite. Number one was a very, very simple one. It's the Deathly Hallows Part 2. What a film. What a film. It is payoff, 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 and more payoff. So amazing, so exciting, relentlessly paced, action-packed. It's full of everything you love. Satisfaction levels are through the roof on this one. It's starting from the Gringotts Bank scene, which is insane, all the way to the very end with Harry versus Voldemort. It all works seamlessly. It's perfect, is this film. It's one of my favourite films of all time. I would give it a solid 10 out of 10. I love this film. So many moments, so many satisfying moments. Why is there so many? There's so many. Neville slicing Nagini's neck and killing him. Satisfying. Harry finally killing Voldemort. Satisfying. Molly Weasley killing Bellatrix. Satisfying. Satisfying, satisfying, and more satisfaction to just be thrown at you. The Snape scene, Jesus Christ, is that good. The Snape scene is epic. I love that scene. And it really made me realise, you know what, Snape's my favourite character in the whole of Harry Potter franchise. I love Snape now. That scene alone is worthy of being my favourite, worthy of being number one on this list. It's that good. Seeing Snape is actually a nice guy, and everything he's really done, and he's had Harry's best interests at heart. Harry didn't know that, but yeah, he did, and he really, really cared for Harry's mum. And he was just a great character overall, Snape. And the way Alan Rickman portrayed Snape in this film is world class. That guy was brilliant. He's such a good actor, Alan Rickman. You know, I loved him, and he's just very subtle throughout the whole franchise, doing it consistently throughout the franchise to finally show that little bit of emotion at the end, and his whole backstory. It's beautiful to see. I absolutely love any of that scene. All of that scene is beautiful with Snape. I love it, and I also absolutely love when Harry has the resurrection stone, lets Voldemort kill him, they're all dragging him back, making Hagrid carrying him back, thinking, yeah, he's dead. But then Neville stands up, that epic monologue he comes out with, then Harry comes back from the dead, satisfying again, add that to the list of satisfying moments. You know, it's epic, it's epic. Have I knocked my camera? Oh, yeah, epic. Also the end sequence where they're all old and they're bringing their own kids to Hogwarts, again, satisfying. You know, Ron and Hermione are back together, satisfying. I also forgot the part where Harry saves Malfoy from the fire. That's satisfying. So many satisfying moments. I have said that word far too many times, but it's true. Payoff, payoff, payoff. Yeah, like I say, the final scene where Harry calls his son Severus Albus Potter. Yes, it's got everything you need. This, everyone who is planning on doing a huge franchise or is doing one now, take note. This is how you finish a franchise and make it by far the best film in the whole franchise for me, and one of my favourite films of all time. It is also extremely rewatchable. I could watch this film all day long, never get bored. And guys, that is my top favourite Harry Potter films. Please let me know your rankings down below. I love to read your comments. I'd love to reply. Yeah, let me know. Please let me know down below. Yeah, Harry Potter, I absolutely love the franchise, adore it, and yeah, guys, please let me know. This has been the Movie Matthew channel, and if you haven't subscribed already, what are you doing? Do it. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and yeah, do whatever you want, guys. This has been the Movie Matthew channel, and I will see you next week on my next video.